Start that now, but let's get that in. Okay, here we go. Hi everybody, and welcome to the Toronto Real Estate Show with Jenelle and Leslie. I'm Jenelle Cameron.
Hi there, I'm Leslie Pearson.
And today we're talking about how to get your home ready for sale on a budget. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you had a great week, and we are back at the studio we used to record at.
Yeah, you might notice our background is different. We've been here before, but quite honestly, we got some feedback that the quality of our sound was maybe questionable. So we want to give you the best experience possible. So we're back here for now.
Yeah, God knows we've struggled with that. So for now, this is where we are until we can figure things out.
Yeah,
so,
I think we're one of the first real estate podcasts, local for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think we started in 2020 in the heat of COVID, and we've been doing it consistently ever since. And there's going to be tweaks and changes, and we always want to do our best to make it a good experience for anybody who takes the time to listen to us. So
yeah, and when people are commenting that they're unhappy with the
so we got some thoughts from people about the quality of the sound. So if you still have complaints, let us know. But let us know if this is working.
If you still have complaints, there's not much more we can do.
Come to your house and talk to you. Come to your house and talk to you. But it would be great to hear from people if, that was a good move, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
It would be great to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So you always ask this. So Jenelle, how's your last week been?
The last week has been okay. I don't even think anything really exciting has happened last week because I don't think so. I've shown some houses that have been gone in crazy multiple offers.
I have too.
Yeah. I showed a client a place today. This is kind of funny because we looked at so many places over the past few months, and she did not make the move when she wanted to make the move, and now there's some resistance to the actual situation that's going on in the market. She doesn't seem
doesn't like it either way. I had the same conversation with clients, and you could pinpoint how the market is doing because a semi that we went to see early in the spring market, so I'm talking like the first week of February maybe, sold. My clients thought it was too early in their search to take it seriously. And then the very same layout, lot size, semi, 4 doors down, sold last week for $200,000 more. Yeah. You cannot prove the market strength right now any better than that. $200,000 in 2 months.
It's insane. I had a similar thing with a client of mine who looked at a condo townhouse on PAPE. The last, which was listed for $799. The last one exactly like it sold I think 4 months ago for $810. This one went $960.
Yeah.
And it was not even 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's that's the reality of where we're at. I don't know how to get that across to people.
Yeah.
And there are those that think the market will die again and slow down and
I don't know
what to say.
And now it's I find it always difficult to respond to the question, what do you think it'll sell for? What do you think it'll take? Should we waste our time offering or not if you think it's going to go for more than we can afford? And it's so hard in this current market that is starting to return to cases of being overtaken by emotion. And so, all it takes is one person fed up with looking, swooping in, and all the comps don't matter. And so, you never know.
You don't.
But you do.
But you do.
Yeah, so I don't, and I had this conversation with these people yesterday that, if I tell you the real range of this place's value is X, and you go in X minus 75.
Yeah.
All you're doing is increasing the prices.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
But then I don't want to be that person that in this one case, it happened to be raining hard, so it didn't go for the X.
But that's never happened.
I know that. It's
so
my anxiety.
And I get that, but people, and I think the caveat to our clients is that, this is our prediction based on a lot of years of experience and what we think, but there is always the exception.
Yeah,
But
and I
yes.
always say, like, what's the number that if when you wake up in the morning and you hear what it's sold for,
No
you're going to be
regrets.
like devastated by or have no regrets.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and if that's your number, that's your number. Like, I've had people when I've had listings recently, like it's hard to fight this when people say, it's well within their budget, so they don't care if they overpay.
Yeah.
Well, then if you're working with other clients that are more price sensitive, that's, you just can't combat that.
No, you can't.
Because I get the first person's point of view too, because if you can afford to make your monthly payments, like real estate is golden. Like
Yeah.
I kind of personally think, I don't want to get anybody upset, but if you've got money, there's no problem overpaying.
I mean, I agree. And we're not talking.
I would overpay to get it.
500,000.
Yeah, I would overpay to get it if
Yeah.
I can afford those monthly payments versus not.
And overpaying, by the way, for most people, when we're talking about this scenario, is like 40,000, which over the term of a mortgage, I know that sounds like a lot of money.
It's nothing. It's a cup of coffee a day.
But over the term of a mortgage, it's nothing. And I think sometimes you just have to put yourself in that perspective. Where I get stuck is when people say, like, my budget is 999,000. I can't go over that.
And they're looking at houses listed at 999 or 1.5 or 105,
and then you're like, no.
Yeah, you have to look. If your budget is 1 million max, you have to look at 699 or 799.
Yeah.
And I've tried to have that conversation with these people, but
they're not getting it.
They're not getting it, and when you have expectations of like what you can get for $9.99, it's like. It's heartbreaking to see their reaction sometimes.
It is,
but and then I don't know about you, but I've started to get emails from homeowners talking about listings in their neighborhood and saying things like, "This place is so overpriced. What are they possibly thinking of?" And my reaction to that is, it's only its price is what a buyer's willing to pay for.
That's right.
So once a buyer pays an amount for it, it wasn't overpriced because they paid it.
Exactly.
There's no over and there's really no under.
And I think
pricing is a strategy.
Right. And the thing is, if you have a house or a property that goes to bid, and you've got 5 or 6 people bidding on it, and all offers are generally in the same ballpark, how could it possibly be overpriced when people think that? So, you've got several people vying for the home. Yeah,
I start my response with some empathy, like, I get it that there's a little bit of sticker shock with what home values are like in Toronto now. I get that reaction, but these things are not overpriced.
Yeah.
They're selling.
Exactly.
People are seeing them, viewing them, seeing the asking price, offering what they offer. There's no overprice if it sells. Now, if a place sits for a while, clearly there was something wrong with the strategy to sell it shows.
But you have to be careful out there, people. Like, don't let opportunities pass you by, because it's only going to get hotter over the next year.
So then I end my email. So it's 3 people who emailed me like in the last week saying this thing. I said, well, if you own and that house down the street sold and it was overpriced, why aren't you selling?
Yeah. Also, like, selling and celebrating.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's isn't that what we all want? Like,
I just don't understand it's overpriced. Over means what? Over what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Over your opinion?
Yeah, exactly. Over what you bought it for in 1976.
More than that.
If someone's willing to pay for it, it was not overpriced.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm thinking about that wrong.
No. I mean, I'm with you. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. We wanted to talk a little bit, talking about prices, we want to talk a little bit today about how you can get your home ready for sale on a budget. And there's a couple of reasons for that, I think. There are people right now selling who are trying to maximize the great market that we're in, but there are a lot of people who need to sell for various reasons, and most people have to get their places spruced up a little bit in order to get it ready to sell. And I see crazy renovations going on from people, and it's not necessary before you sell, but it is necessary to spruce it up, and I think there's ways that we can do that on a budget.
Okay.
So let's give a couple of points. So the number one thing that I wanted to say is that let's talk about paint.
Paint is the cheapest, most impactful upgrade you can do to your property.
Always.
You
And by
should
paint,
always paint.
we mean the whole house, the ceiling, the baseboards, because it makes a huge difference. And I mostly prefer you don't do it yourself unless you're a professional painter, because generally doesn't come across as professional if it's not done by a professional.
Yeah, I mean, I can only think of a few houses in my whole career that I would say painting isn't necessary.
Yeah.
But painting is the number one thing you should look to do on a budget.
Now,
It's still going to cost you. Like
it
it's
still costs
expensive.
money, but in terms of bang for your buck, it's
Yeah.
the best thing that you can do. And
You
you
make
know,
more on this generally on it's statistically proven. You make more on the sale of your house than the cost to paint.
exactly.
So that's how you should judge what you do buy if budget is a real concern.
It's tight.
And you know, I agree with you because budget should always be a concern. You don't want to over improve your house
No.
if you're selling it.
Huge mistake.
Yeah.
Or like even owning, I think over improving, unless you're planning to live there
Yeah.
forever, is a problem.
So the number one thing is paint.
Yeah.
And almost always we recommend it. Almost always we recommend white.
Yeah.
Some variation. There's lots of variations of white, and
Yeah.
depending on the lighting and the like sun exposure, we might recommend different shades of white.
Yeah.
But you know, you want to project a clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
it looks fresh. It smells
Yeah.
good. It covers a multitude of sins.
even you know, I would say even estate sales.
Mostly yes. Now
Yeah.
I did have the exception recently. I sold one that was not an estate sale, but it was a power of attorney type situation.
Mhm.
And there was so much to do that they just opted not to do
Yeah.
anything, and it worked out well.
Yeah,
If the place is going to be torn down anyway,
yeah. Then
it's
there's
probably not a point.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to. They're
Yeah.
not going to keep, the
yeah.
rough things and appreciate the paint. But yes, I agree. If you can do it, it's worth doing.
I'm going to be doing an estate sale at some point, and until the family started to take down all the artwork, I was kind of sitting on the fence, like, why bother? People are going to know it's an estate sale. But now with the empty walls and the holes and whatever, it's just you don't get a second opportunity to make a first impression,
No.
even if they're going to repaint it.
Yes.
It's that first impression, that freshness, that
Yeah.
cleanness, that attention that makes an impression. So
It does.
the number one thing you really need to consider is painting.
Yeah.
And we have painters that it doesn't have to be outrageous. I
Oh,
mean,
it doesn't.
I would hire different painters, I think, if I were painting my house to live in than painting to sell. Because there's a range of
I think you
painting.
have options,
Yeah.
right?
so painting for sure.
Painting for
What
sure.
else?
Let's talk about kitchens, because I think everybody, when they look at a house for the first time, they want to know if the kitchen's in good shape. And I think there's a tendency to over renovate a kitchen for sale. So there are ways that you can do this inexpensively on a budget.
Yeah.
The first thing is painting kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
And you can do this relatively inexpensively, and there are lots of options for color. However, we usually do like white as well. But it looks great today. It's not like it used to be back in the day when you painted kitchen cabinets. A professional painter can do this really nicely, and it may only cost you a couple $1,000s.
And I don't know how it's done, but I have a girlfriend who just took all her kitchen fronts off, all the hardware, and did it herself.
Yeah,
And look,
you would spray paint it.
You wouldn't know
Yeah.
that she had done
Yeah.
it. Related to that, painting is new hardware, like
So,
new
yeah, I was
poles
gonna say that.
and because
It's
that just
so
looks
cheap.
it's so cheap,
Yeah,
and you can do that yourself, and it just modernizes it.
yeah.
It just takes it a step higher.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even if you don't paint, which you should, but even if you don't, just getting new hardware makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Nice black or chrome or something like that is a huge thing.
Yeah, and you know what I find in a lot of houses, like, it's the walking around the house and looking at your house with a fresh eye. Like, I see so many houses where, like, you open a cupboard, like the hinges aren't on right or something, and it doesn't go back
but
in.
they're used to like
really, that takes 5 minutes with a screwdriver.
I know. You
So-
just get used to it, right?
Yeah, you'd stop seeing
You stop seeing.
in your own house. So
Yeah.
like, it's little things like that, like fix all
Fix
the
that
little
stuff,
repairables. But what else in the kitchen?
Okay, the other thing is mostly recommend people get new appliances if they are old and white and, tired looking, or even stainless and tired. And what I've suggested to everybody over the last couple of years is go on Kijiji, go on Facebook, buy some used ones that are in good shape. Stainless usually is what people want. And you can get used appliances that are in great shape for a fraction of the price.
I know a great used appliance guy.
Okay.
Used them several times.
Okay.
And
okay, we'll reach out to us.
we've got those results. We've got painting as well. We skipped
Yeah.
that. We've got several painters on the
Yeah.
team, and this appliance guy has saved me so many times, and like he does the installation and everything, and the cost is.
It's
I think even for my own house, I would go to this guy.
I mean, it's worth it because people do not. I hate to say this, but most people, unless they're the modern type, most people do not want appliances that are not stainless. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I thought there was a little bit of a move away from that, but overwhelmingly,
Seems to,
it's
yeah.
pretty popular.
Now, the other thing I would suggest is a countertop, and I am not suggesting that you go out and get granite or quartz or anything like that. You can buy a nice laminate countertop these days, which can look pretty good and really spruce up an old kitchen. And yeah, most people are going to want a stone type finish, but they're happy to see a fresh kitchen, fresh cabinets, and a nice countertop, which you can get from Home Depot or anywhere like that for a pretty good price.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely look into that. You could do a whole, kitchen for like $1,000 with a countertop and paint and hardware. It's worth it. You don't have to go and spend $20,000-$30,000 on a new kitchen.
Right.
Because people are lulled by the beauty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's the HGTVization.
It's the HGTV.
But, and so we're concentrating so much on the kitchen at the start of this conversation because the kitchen is one of those rooms that has the greatest impact. If
That's
you're going
right.
to do anything and you have to pick and choose,
Biggest bang for your buck.
I think it's kitchen, and I think the second one is bathroom.
Bathroom. Now, this is one I've recently come across. I've had a couple of clients who have terrible looking bathtubs get them painted, and they look great.
Painting the bathtub.
Painting the bathtub and tile and surrounding tile. Now and you can paint all the tile in the bathroom, by the way, but painting a tub with whatever special paint they use and painting the tile lasts. It's not like it's flaking off tomorrow. It looks great. And it is a really easy way to get your place ready for sale on a budget. You can also, by the way, like just by doing that with the tub and the surround and the tile, putting a new shower curtain rod up there, that's a few bucks. That will completely change the look of the bathroom without even doing anything else. You may have to replace the, faucets and things, but if you don't have to, then you've saved yourself a ton of money. And you can buy a brand new vanity for your bathroom for a couple $100.
Yeah.
It is really, really inexpensive to do that as well.
Yeah.
And so,
and just as in the kitchen, if there are any like hardware, like pulls or anything on the cabinets, and try and. I think an overriding principle in any improvements you do to the house is consistency. So I would try to match my kitchen hardware to my bathroom.
Yeah.
So that there's flow. Certainly on a floor of a house.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. So,
totally. So that's easy. I find bathrooms you can really spruce up pretty quickly and inexpensively.
Yeah, another thing that I find both in the kitchen and in the bathroom, in any room, that has a big impact for relatively budget pricing is lighting.
Yeah. Great one.
I love, like when I walk in and see just the cutest in a bedroom for a kid, for example, or just the sparkliest in the bathroom or the most modern in a kitchen, it just changes how you feel about it.
It really does, and it's not expensive.
No.
You can get some, I send a lot of my clients to Amazon. Go on Amazon, look for, ceiling light, inexpensive ceiling light, chrome, whatever, black, whatever they want, and $20-$30. I think a place I just sold, she got 2 for $60.
Yeah.
And they're nice, and she bought quite a few for the house, and so
I would look at your lighting. A lot of us have that, what I think they call it nipple.
Oh yeah.
Like get rid of those. I know I do. Get rid of those.
Yeah.
So that's another on a budget item.
Yeah.
And I raised the topic of the importance of curb appeal. Make sure you have seasonally appropriate kind of planters out there, or if there's any painting that needs to be done, or anything like
Like
that.
the garage door or the front
something.
door.
Make sure as people are driving by to check it out before they go see it with their agent, because we know people do that. Or if they're coming to actually go inside, they're going to stop and stand on the sidewalk and look first.
Yeah.
So make sure, again, you don't get a second chance to make a good impression.
Yeah.
And it conveys care, I think.
Love, I think. And you can tell when a house has been loved.
Yeah.
You know? Another one I want to talk about is flooring, because this is a really big deal, because some people have terrible flooring, like it's old and scratched and
or piecemeal, different rooms, different.
Honestly, please,
not
just on a
matching.
side note, please, people, do not put different flooring in different rooms.
It's so
It drives
common,
me crazy.
and it's not necessary that they put different flooring in different rooms, as they've at some point ripped up broadloom and it went in a different direction.
But sometimes it's so dramatically different. Cherry wood.
My father has. You're going to see my father's house, and there's like, I don't know, 10 different kinds of it. But if we sell that at his house, do we change all the flooring?
Well, and that's something I think you really have to kind of assess, because there are I've seen, and we use a company and a guy to renovate a lot of our homes, and he can replace flooring throughout a whole house for $10,000 and do a nice new laminate flooring. If you have that kind of extra money to spend, again, we're not suggesting you put new hardwood in, but it can really make a huge difference, and it's not that expensive. And that includes doing stairs, hand railings to match, or paint. There's different things that you can do that can really make a huge difference without spending a fortune. Or
if you don't have that budget, even for that, invest in either buying or staging with some really nice neutral rugs.
Yes.
Because that's what people will. They'll concentrate less on the diversity of flooring options in your house. They'll concentrate on that nice, beige, plush, neutral rug. Yeah. So, a nice rug in a room really pulls the room together.
Yeah.
And so if you can't afford to replace the flooring,
because it's still not cheap. But if you do think you need to replace flooring and you're looking into that, do not be afraid of laminate or vinyl these days, because there's some really nice, and they're not cheap either, but there's some really nice even vinyl plank flooring, which looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's kind of indestructible, especially if you're thinking about a basement.
Yeah.
And some of the laminates now are just gorgeous. You'd never know. So you don't have to replace it with solid hardwood. You can go a less expensive option, and it's okay. So those were kind of some of the key things. Anything else you were thinking of from a budget standpoint that that's worth doing? Window coverings.
Okay.
Window coverings is a big one. And
really?
I think, because I think a lot of people will try to put new blinds on or something like that. I get that sometimes
I tend to just remove.
We like them removed.
I like it gone. Yeah.
So that's a really
good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's a really easy way to
take
save some money.
off.
Just take them down, but don't go worrying about. And especially if you're gonna have the place painted, any curtain rods or whatever that you've had up, you're gonna take down and they'll replace those holes. But don't worry about replacing window coverings.
No.
For freedom.
100%. Yeah, don't have them
when you sell.
Yeah, I agree. Completely. No, I think it's paint, it's lighting, it's kitchen, bathroom, curb appeal.
Yeah.
And then the typical things that you must do when you are listing for sale is declutter, depersonalize, clean, including windows.
Yeah.
And those aren't updates or renovations. Those are just must do getting readies.
And have someone come in and take a look, because they may have a different perspective. Your friend, your family, they're going to walk through and go, well, what's that mark on the wall? Or why do you have a hole there? And these are things that you just don't
because you
notice
stop
anymore.
seeing them. Yeah.
So, all these things you can do inexpensively on a budget, and it's worth it for the sale, because at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that you are obviously maximizing what you put in, and making sure.
So it's a balancing act, right? You want to do some upgrades to increase your return, but you don't want to over renovate, because a neighborhood will, or a street will really only bear so much. So
Exactly.
it's and kitchens and bathrooms are proven to have great returns.
They are.
Worthwhile.
All right, well, I guess that's probably it for this one.
Okay.
So let us know if you have any questions. Don't forget to rate us here. Let us know how you feel about our return to sound.
Hopefully.
Return to good sound, hopefully. And follow us on all of our social channels at the Jenelle Cameron Team. And share this with others you think might be interested in knowing how they can get their home ready for sale on a budget.
Good.
All right, everyone, have a good one, and happy real estate.
Happy real estate, everyone. So how long was that?